What's up, party people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 145 and season 5, episode 7 of Thoughts and Hunches, Making Money in Bunches and Sucker Punches. It's your boy Stony coming back at you for the 145th time. Can't believe it's been that many times. 145th time. And I'd like to welcome all of my fellow hoodlums, lowlifes, scumbags, shady characters, heathens, scoundrels, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, hustlers, wise guys, people that give themselves nicknames and speak in the third person. You cannot give yourself a nickname. If you do, you don't know shit. So don't win a $4 bet and say, talking about yourself, referring to yourself in the third person and adding knows soccer, because you don't. We all know you don't know soccer. So don't sell that to me. It just doesn't work, right? Foul-mouthed raging alcoholics, MLB players that have got into a fight with Bryce Harper, cheats, disasters that take pride in a $4 profit on the NBA, gangsters, fienders with abusive language, and degenerates. Basically, let's face it, anybody with a massive gambling problem. If you're new to the show, hey, that means you probably fit into one or a few of those categories, so welcome, because you're now one of us. One of us, gooba gobba, one of us. Get a little excited sometimes, right? Now, make sure you hit the subscribe button right down here in the lower right-hand corner. Ring that bell. That way you'll get notified every time I put out a new video. And to spread the word's also very easy. Just tell other degenerates and scumbags you know, like Tom Cruise, to go to YouTube and enter Thoughts and Hunches in the search bar. That'll take you directly to my page so you can get dialed into everything that I drop on you. Also, if you're new and you don't know what's what with this channel, it's college and pro football winners, MLB playoff winners going on right now, and college basketball winners starting in a couple weeks. The books don't expect a guy like me to deliver this many winners, right? Because I'm like the Beastie Boys. I'm an outlier and a disruptor. I disrupt.
Step inside the party, disrupt the whole scene.
That's all I do, right? I go to the mattresses and I get the info for you every single week in order to get you to the window with a ticket to cash. Now, before I get to the picks, as usual, I just might have a couple thoughts.
Give me all you got. Listen, give me all you got.
Now, I have to start by talking about the travesty in Oakland last week with the last game ever for the Oakland A's. Before I get after it, I have to preface the fact that I was born and raised in Oakland and spent about 40 years of my life in what we call the O, or the town, when the Raiders were in La La Land, right? Well, before the Raiders were in La La Land, when I was growing up. Now, when they were down there, from 82 to 95, the Oakland Coliseum was a nice place to watch a baseball game with absolutely perfect weather. I went often, even though I was a Giants fan, because all my friends were A's fans and none of them wanted to go to Candlestick. I enjoyed going to games because I'm a baseball fan. Then in 94, the Raiders announced they were moving back. And the transformation of a nice ballpark turned into a hideous football stadium. Now, while the A's had some success for about 25 years, you know what was missing? Fans. They just weren't there. They were not showing up unless the Yankees, the Giants, or the Red Sox were in town. And the visiting teams overwhelmingly took over the stadium. Now, like many teams, when the A's were bad, nobody came. At all. Ever. Between the Oakland City Council, the County of Alameda, and the fans not showing up, the A's leaving is no surprise. There's a reason why the Warriors left for San Francisco and the Raiders left twice. Once for La La Land and now for Las Vegas. Why? Because they got new buildings. Many times over the years, there were initiatives on the ballots about a new stadium and they never got the votes needed. The Raiders moving to Oakland forced the A's out. Yeah, it took almost 30 years, but the A's days were numbered for years as soon as the Raiders moved back. If the city of Oakland wanted any of their three teams to stay, they would have made it happen, period. They didn't. Now they're all gone. And I don't want to hear about how great it was for all the A's fans that showed up one last time in the finale and all the memories. What about the last 10 years? Where were they? They wanted the A's to stay. The fans would have shown up for more games than opening night and a few series against popular teams. Remember that the A's were in Kansas City before Oakland. Remember that. 4 of the A's greatest players, Reggie Jackson, Catfish Hunter, Sal Bando, Bert Campaneris, they all started in Kansas City, not Oakland, right? Though their biggest successes were in Oakland, right? So I guess in conclusion, as a native of Oakland, though I wasn't a fan, I never wanted any of the teams to leave Oakland. But it's better for the players and the organization to move on to better places where they will be supported better and not play in a city that, let's face it, is a total disaster right now. It's a mess. Is that gone? It is. Oh, Tigers. Very, very, very nice. Tigers take the lead. Parker Meadows. Oh, that'll shut them up in Houston. Now, all right, Oakland is a mess. The city is a disaster, and all my friends that I grew up with, none of them still live in Oakland. None of them. They all left. So no, I'm not nostalgic about them leaving. The A's fans, who most don't even live in Oakland anymore, like I just said, got exactly what they deserved by not voting for a new stadium and supporting their teams better. All right? I said I would go in on your boy Diddy this week, but I'll hold off because that sounds like it's going to go on for a while. All right, let me point out some very special RIPs over the last week. And I'll start with Chris Christopherson, who is a songwriting god. He died on Saturday after an unbelievable career in music and acting. Do you want to hear poetry sung to you? Just Google Chris Christopherson, The Pilgrim, and listen to it. Pure poetry. Unbelievable. Then on Monday, we lost Dikembe Mutombo. The Fear of Zaire, one of the greatest defenders and shot blockers in NBA history. Yesterday, it was actor John Amos, who's best known for playing James Evans on Good Times and Cleo McDowell in Coming to America. They'll be missed, absolutely. But lastly, there was Pete Rose. I think that Pete deserved better. One of the 10 best baseball players of all time. He was banned from baseball for betting while he was managing the Reds in the 80s. Because of that, he's not in the Hall of Fame. And I find it hard to believe that MLB's all-time hit king and home run king are not in the Hall of Fame. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm old enough to remember Rose, and the guy was absolutely incredible. If you put Rose in the Hall of Fame now that he's gone, Major League Baseball will just prove how hypocritical they are. It's too late. You blew it, MLB. You deserve better, Pete, and you'll be missed. Now let's move on to Stoney's NCAA Top 12 rankings. I'll do this every week until the final 12 are selected. They've changed after what happened last week. These are based on current AP rankings and what I've seen on the field. So some teams may have higher rankings than others based on who they've beaten or lost to. I'm just going to list them without going in too deep because I don't want this to be an hour-long video, and I've already gone a little over. Alabama's number 1 after beating Georgia and Wisconsin, period. Texas is number 2, just keeps on rolling. Tennessee's number 3, as their already tough schedule gets tougher going forward now. Ohio State is 4th, but they haven't played anyone. Georgia's 5th with a loss, but that's like the best loss you can have in Tuscaloosa. Penn State is 6th with a couple of nice wins. Oregon is 7th, but haven't been tested. Missouri's 8th for the same reason that Oregon is 7th. Miami's 9th, even though they lost. Yeah, they lost last week. Let's just face it. They lost, but were gifted a win over a bad team that just beat them. Period. Number 10 is Iowa State, as they're undefeated but still untested. Number 11 is BYU, who still keeps racking up impressive wins very quietly and under the radar. And finally, number 12 is Michigan, who's now 4-1 and surprising a lot of people, including me. Okay? Argue all you want, but I don't give a oops. Wait, did I forget LSU? No, apparently I didn't. Hell, they shouldn't even be ranked. I know college football, and that's what I've seen so far. Look out for my new list next week, I should say, as we got a few more games coming up this weekend. Finally, with the MLB playoffs underway, I'm going to continue to drop daily picks in the comments section of this video like I've done for the last couple days. On Monday, I also gave you my picks for each wild card series. And we'll continue to give you daily picks every day throughout the end of the World Series, right? So keep checking back daily for those of you scumbags like Tom Cruise that need to have daily action going, right? Because I'm watching it right now. Detroit's up 1-0. I just can't stomach Michael Kay announcing the game. I just don't need to listen to him. But Detroit, wow, man's game. AJ Hinch, get some. Now, as for the week that was, I had a rough go at it in college football. Started rough, never seemed to catch up. 8-12 was just not up to my standard that I've set. So this week looks like the one to get back on track. NFL was a different beast, though. 11-6-1 was just what the doctor ordered. Reverse turf home underdogs went 3-0, getting the season record on that angle to 7-3. And I finally hit a Sunday night game to get off the schneid. The good news is that the more you see these teams, the more you learn about who the contenders are and who ain't shit. This week began yesterday with MLB playoff picks, and I didn't fare well. 2-2 on the sides, 1-3 on the totals just showed that October baseball is all about pitching. And between Michael King of San Diego, Cole Reagans of Kansas City, and Tarek Skubal of Detroit, man, they were absolutely electrifying as 3 games went under the number, right? The only saving grace was that I did have the Padres on the run line at plus 150, which is nice. Shout out Carl Spackler. Know the reference, people. Know the reference. Here are the updated numbers. Last week, 19 wins, 18 losses, 1 push, 51.35%. That's not a winning week. It's not good either. Got to bounce back. Very rarely do I put 2 back-to-back losing weeks together, so this is a week to go extremely large. NCAA football season for the regular season. 58 wins, 46 losses, 55.77%. It's amazing what an 8-12 week does to your numbers to send them south. NFL regular season, on the season, 38 wins, 25 losses, 5 pushes, 60.32%. Doesn't get any better than that. MLB playoffs, after 1 day, 3 wins, 5 losses, 37.5%. That's all going to change. Hopefully here, with Detroit ending it. Overall, all 6 weeks, every single pick that I've given you so far this season, we've got 96 wins, 71 losses, 5 pushes. 57.48%. Any way you look at it, that dials it up.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Now, please remember that all of these picks are 100% free, right? So for all those touts out there that give you 75 to 80% winners, come on. We all know you're full of shit. Plus, you're charging for these picks.
Oh!
Yeah. With me, just come to YouTube every week and I'll drop my plays on you for free. You ready? Away we go. Episode number 8. Last week I got the push on Dallas, New Jersey Giants game, so I'm now 1-2-1 on Thursday night NFL. So tomorrow night, 8:15 Eastern on Amazon at Lorenzo Rollin' in a Benzo in Hotlanta, where the 2-2 Falcons are 1-1, 1.5 point favorites. Where did that show up from? 1.5 point home favorites versus the 3-1 Buccaneers, and the total's 43. Atlanta took out New Orleans on Sunday to even up their record, while Tampa blasted Philly to get to 3-1. I like the Bucs, and I'm not sold on the Falcons, but these two are going to be battling along with New Orleans all season long in the NFC South. While I think Tampa's better, I like the Falcons in this spot to get the W at home in Hot Town. ATL minus 1.5. Excuse me. Last week I went 1-1 on Friday night NCAA football matchup, so I now sit at a very impressive 7-2 on the season. This Friday, let's get it started, 7:30 Eastern at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth. 3-2 Texas Christian is a huge 16.5 point home favorite over 1-4 Houston, and the total's 49.5. TCU took out Kansas on Saturday to rebound after 2 straight losses, while Houston, no matter which way you look at it, they're clearly struggling.
I believe it means the same thing at present.
What does it mean to you now when the team is struggling?
I want to kiss you. I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
But they are struggling. Sorry about that. Attaboy, Joe. Thanks, Joe. The Cougars have been shut out twice in a row by Iowa State and Cincinnati. Their only win was over a really bad Rice team. Give me the Horned Frogs here to roll and make this one easy. TCU minus 60.5. Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on FS1 at Allegiant Stadium in America's Playground. Newly ranked 25th Nevada, Las Vegas is a 6-point home favorite over 3-1 Syracuse, and the total's 59.5. Is UNLV becoming a football school? Dare I say it? Dare I say it? Curse my tongue. The Qs has played well, with their only loss being a 2-point heartbreaker to Stanford, while the Rebels are rolling along and didn't skip a beat after quarterback Matthew Sluka quit the team unexpectedly last week. Haj Malik Williams has taken over the reins and offers a running threat along with his passing. I like the Rebels here because Syracuse going cross-country against an undefeated team will not turn out so well. UNLV minus 6. By the way, bottom 6. Tigers 1. Astros nothing. Astros are 12 outs away from going home for the offseason. Yeah. At a minus 165, were they to win this series? I had Detroit. Don't tell anyone, but I had the Tigers. Friday night, third game at 9 Eastern on Big Fox at Autzen Stadium in Eugene. 6th-ranked Oregon's a 24-point home chalk versus 3-2 Michigan State, and the total's 52.5. Oregon's 4-0, but they still haven't beaten anyone due to an incredibly soft schedule and some fortunate Big Ten scheduling. MSU isn't very good either, but now that we all know that Oregon doesn't have that killer instinct, thanks to them choking in last week's degenerate special, I have to roll with Sparty here. Sorry, give me Michigan State catching 24. Moving on to Saturday, we'll get it started noon Eastern on ESPN at Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. 4-0 Pittsburgh is a 3-point road favorite at 3-2 North Carolina, and the total 64.5. Pitt is already battle-tested with wins over West Virginia and Cincinnati, while Carolina's lost 2 in a row and let James Madison hang 70 on him 2 weeks ago. This defense leaves a lot to be desired. Give me Pitt, lay the field goal. Noon Eastern on ACC Network at Scott Stadium in Charlottesville. 3-1 Virginia is a 2.5-point home favorite over 4-1 Boston College, and the total's 50.5. UVA's only loss was to Maryland 3 weeks ago, and Michigan State lost at Missouri on the same day. I'm a big fan of BC quarterback Thomas Castellanos and have no choice but to roll with the Eagles here. Give me BC plus 2.5, and while you're at it, sprinkle a little something on the money line. 40?
Sprinkle me, man.
You got to. Sometimes you just have to. Double play ball, inning over. We go to the 7th. Tigers lead 1-0. Incredible. Noon Eastern on Big Fox at Beaver Stadium and State College. 7th-ranked Penn State is a huge 27.5-point home favorite versus 1-3 UCLA, and the total's 44.5. While Penn State's cruising despite a very soft schedule, they did take out previously unbeaten Illinois last week, but the Illini got the cover in one of my very, well, not as many, but in one of my winners.
Hoo-ah!
That's what it sounded like. It sounded something like that. Say it again.
Hoo-ah!
Yeah, just like that. That's what it was. All right? Just didn't have as many as I would have liked. You're welcome, though. UCLA got blown out in the first half of the Degenerate Special, right? But they just kept on hanging around the entire game. Teddy?
Hanging around.
Yeah, they're just hanging around. And the Bruins got the cover because they hung around long enough. Just like they did against Louisiana State 2 weeks ago. PSU wins easily, but the Bruins get the cover. UCLA plus 27.5. Noon Eastern on ABC. We get Saturdays in the South with the 3 Fs. Faith, family, and football. At Kyle Field in College Station, 25th-ranked Texas A&M is a 2.5-point home favorite versus 9th-ranked Missouri, and the total's 48.5. Didn't see that hook there. Bettors fell out of love with A&M after losing at home to Notre Dame to start the season. But they've since ripped off 4 straight. Mizzou came out of the chute red hot and are still 4-0, but they've had trouble 2 straight weeks against Boston College and 2 weeks ago to Vanderbilt in overtime. Yeah, they had last week off, but I don't give a shit. Aggies are the play here at home. Give me A&M minus 2.5. Noon Eastern on ESPN at LNN FCU Stadium in Louisville. The 22nd-ranked Cardinals are 7-point home favorites versus 4-1 SMU, and the total's 57.5. Louisville rolled to a 3-0 start and lost a tough one at Notre Dame last week, while SMU rebounded from their only loss last month to BYU with a few blowout wins over TCU and Florida State. Louisville wins, but the Mustangs can give them hell. I like SMU here catching 7 on the road. 3:30 Eastern on Big Ten Network at Martin Stadium in Evanston. 23rd-ranked Indiana comes in as 13.5-point road chalk at 2-2 Northwestern, and the total's 42.5. I use 5-0 for the first time in nearly 60 years, and it's because quarterback Curtis Rourke has been lighting up the opposition so far, and with wins already over UCLA and Maryland, who's your daddy is rolling. Northwestern is awful, but at home and coming in following a bye, I like the Wildcats here to come in under the number. Northwestern plus 13.5. 3:30 Eastern on ABC at Sanford Stadium in Athens. 5th-ranked Georgia is a 24-point home chalk versus 2-3 Auburn, and the total's 52.5. UGA struggled a few weeks ago in Lexington before barely winning, and last week were blown out in the first half in Tuscaloosa on Saturday night before coming all the way back in a fantastic game. Just wish we could have more of those, but it was nice to have. Now the Dogs have to make sure they don't lose twice. They won't. Auburn's lost 3 out of 4, but they've been in all of those close games. They're going to lose badly here, but I'll gladly take the 24 points. 3:30 Eastern on ESPN at the Willie B in Columbia. 12th-ranked Mississippi is a 9-point road favorite at 3-1 South Carolina, and the total's 52.5. Give me a second. Needed that. USC has looked good so far, with their only loss being a controversial one to lousy Anna State a few weeks ago, while Ole Miss beat the doors off their first 4 opponents before losing at home last week to Kentucky. This has the makings of a good one, so I'm going to take South Carolina here, catching 9 at home. 4 Eastern on FS1 at Memorial Stadium in the land of Lincoln. 4-1 Nebraska is a 7-point home favorite over 4-0 Rutgers with the total set at 41.5. These are two very good unranked teams in the Big Ten, trying to keep the pressure on. Nebraska wins a close one, but I'm on Rutgers here, plus the 7. 4 Eastern on ESPN2 at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. 3-2 Oklahoma State's a 4.5-point home favorite versus 2-2 West Virginia, a total 65.5. Both schools have scheduled up, which is a good thing. And while Okie State has dropped 2 straight to Kansas State and Utah, both good teams, I still like them at home here to take out the Mountaineers. Okie State minus 4.5. 4:15 Eastern on SEC Network at First Bank Stadium, right up the road here in Music City, USA. Top-ranked Alabama's a 23.5-point road favorite at 2-2 Vanderbilt, and the total's 55.5. Bama's doing what they usually do and are averaging 47 points a game. It is quietly. You talk all you want about the bias and this and that, but scoring 47 points a game and doing it against Georgia, all right. Vandy's been sneaky good, though. They really have. Won't happen here, though. I saw Bama in Nashville 2 years ago, and it'll be the same this Saturday. Bama cruises, lay the 23.5. At 7 Eastern on ESPN at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallastoni, 15th ranked Clemson is a 14.5-point road favorite at 1-4 Florida State, and the total's 47.5. After Clemson was blown out by Georgia in their opener, they've quietly been rolling as they've won and covered 3 straight. FSU's a mess, a total mess. This is supposed to be the big revenge game for DG Uiagalelei, but he's just not that good, which is why he's no longer Clemson's quarterback. I don't care if it's in Tallahassee or Tallastoni. I still like Clemson, minus 14.5. 7:30 Eastern on ABC at Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville. 4th-ranked Tennessee. He juggled it. The bases are loaded. Bottom 7. Astros. Mauricio Dubon laid down a bunt. Third baseman juggled it. And the bases are drunk with nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. And this is the Astros shot right here to stay alive. Otherwise, they're done. They don't score here. They are toast. Anyway, Tennessee, 7:30 Eastern in Fayetteville, 4th-ranked Tennessee. They're 13.5-point road chalk at 3-2 Arkansas, and the total 60.5. UT's got wins on the road over NC State and Oklahoma last week, while Arkansas has losses to Oklahoma State and Texas A&M on Saturday. The Vols offense and Nico Iamaleava get all the press, as well they should, but it's the Vols defense that has been delivering so far. This is a big number, though. I think UT wins, but give me Arkansas at home catching 13.5. 7:30 Eastern on Big Ten Network at Huntington Bank Stadium in Stoniapolis. I'm just trying to see who's up right now. Okay, all right. 11th ranked Southern. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate here, but watch the game. 11th ranked Southern Cal is an 8.5-point road chalk at 2-3 Minnesota, and the total's 51.5. While SC is just fine in La La Land, they ain't so good on the road, as they lost in Ann Arbor 2 weeks ago, in a game they clearly should have won. Many may be coming off back-to-back losses to Iowa and Michigan, but they covered last week at the Big House and are back at home this week. Give me Minnesota plus the 8.5 at home. 7:30 Eastern. Hang on before I even get to that one. Oh, in the dirt. So Job's in. Singleton's pinch hitting. Detroit's into their pen. It's the 7th. It's the playoffs. 7:30 Eastern on NBC at Husky Stadium in Seatown. 3-2 Washington's a 3-point home favorite over 10th ranked Michigan, and the total's 40.5. Ground ball to first from his knees, drops the ball on the throw home. Run scores, tie ball game, did not get an out. Wow. Hit a ground ball to first. Torkelson made a nice pickup, a diving stop, and from his knee threw home in a throw that would have had him had it been on time or had it been on line, but it bounced it. He bounced it, and yeah, that's a heck of a play. But the throw bounced in the dirt, and the catcher couldn't corral it. Run scores 1-1, bottom 7, still nobody out. With Altuve up. Yeah, here's your ball game right here. Torkelson knows he shat on himself there. Where was I? Jesus. 7:30 Eastern on NBC at Husky Stadium in Seatown. 3-2 Washington is a 3-point home favorite over 10th-ranked Michigan, and the total's 40.5 in a rematch of last season's national championship game. First pitch swinging. Must be Jose Altuve, right field line. Makes the catch. He's not going to tag. Oh, he is! And he made it. Oh, my God. A short foul ball down the right field line. He tagged when he shouldn't have, but beat the throw. 2-1 throws, bottom 7. Incredible. October baseball and March baseball cannot be beaten. They're the best. March college basketball and October baseball are the best. It's literally sitting on the edge of your seat during everything, right? Okay, neither Michigan or Washington scores a lot, right? So this is a low-scoring game either way. With that said, give me under the 40.5 here. 8 Eastern on ESPN2 at Mountain America Stadium. 3-1 Arizona State is a 3-point home chalk versus 1-4 Kansas, and the total's 50.5. Both schools are coming off losses, but KU's dropped 4 straight. No, thank you. Give me the Sun Devils here, -3 at home. 10:30 Eastern on ESPN at Memorial Stadium in the toilet, better known as Berkeley. 8th-ranked Miami is a 10-point road favorite at 3-1 Cal, with the total set at 54.5. This is my boy Dio's wet dream, his 2 favorite teams playing against each other. And both are overrated. They are. But he's loving it because combined they're like 9-1. It's hard for me to say that Miami is 5-0 after they clearly lost last week to Va Tech. But the Huskies just flat out got jobbed. Cal's not very good either, but they beat Auburn and Florida State. If that counts for anything, because they're both having miserable seasons. They have to be to lose to Cal. The Canes get the win here as their incredibly soft schedule continues to get softer. But Cal's defense is good enough to keep this one close in a game that starts very late for Miami. Cal +10. Yeah, I took the golden showers this week. After losing last week's degenerate special, thanks Oregon, I'm now 1-3 on the season, so this week's late night get right goes at 11 Eastern on Big Fox at Arizona Stadium in Tucson, where 3-1 Arizona is a 5.5-point favorite over 4-1 Texas Tech, and the total 64. Expect fireworks here, lots of scoring. Tech's lone loss was at Washington State a month ago, and they've won 3 straight since, while Zona's lost 3 weeks ago at Kansas State. Coming off a big win in Salt Lake Stony on Saturday night, Zona's feeling good about themselves. I still like Tech's offense more to put up the numbers, though. Give me Texas Tech +5.5 on the road to close out the college football slate. 3 on Friday, 18 on Saturday gives us 21 plays to stay busy and prepare us for another NFL Sunday, where it all starts at 9:30 Eastern on NFL Network, right? At Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, where the 4-0 Vikings are 2.5-point favorites over the 2-2 Jets, and the total's 40.5. Minnesota, they just turned 2, so they only held Houston to a 2-run. So they've got the lead. Houston leads 2-1 entering the 8th, but it's only 2-1. So, all right, 6 outs to go now for the Stros to get a W. The Vikings, they're 4-0. They're 2.5-point favorites over the 2-2 Jets, and the total's 40.5, and it's in England. Minnesota is not only a perfect 4-0, but their last 3 wins were over probable playoff teams this year in San Francisco, Houston, and Green Bay. The Jets are just not good. They were pounded by the 49ers. They won 2 straight over New England and Tennessee, hardly impressive, and lost at home to Denver last week. The Jets defense will be ready for Minnesota, but Aaron Rodgers is old, and the Jets offense is still stuck in neutral. Vikings minus 2.5. It's starting to become easy in a Sam Darnold revenge game because he used to play for the Jets. 1 Eastern on Fox at Soldier Field in the Windy City. 2-2 Chicago's a 4-point home favorite over 1-3 Carolina, and the total's 42. These are 2 bad teams. Don't buy the hype on the Bears and don't discount Carolina, right? 4 is a lot to lay for a team with no offensive identity. Give me the Panthers and the points on the road. 1 Eastern on CBS at the Jungle in the Queen City. 2-2 Baltimore is a short 2.5-point road favorite at 1-3 Cincinnati, and the total is 50.5. The Ravens have now won 2 straight after an 0-2 start, and Cincy got off the schneid by winning in Carolina. Baltimore's the better team, but Cincy's a reverse turf home dog. Give me the Bengals catching 2.5 at home, and while you're at it, feel free to sprinkle a little jack on that money line. 40.
Sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me.
Yep, you got to do it every now and then just to make sure that you're sane. 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox at Shaving Cream Stadium in Foxborough. The 1-3 Patriots are a 1-point home favorite versus 1-3 Miami, and the total's 35.5. I mean, really, this one gets the award easily for the biggest turkey game of the week. 2 god-awful teams that can't score meeting up in a meaningless game that means nothing more than draft pick status. I've said all season long that New England is the worst team in the NFL not based in Nashville. But what I saw from Miami on Monday night was borderline pathetic. Saying that, give me the Finns on Monday night on the road. Better odds. Money line. Get a money line. You get the better odds. 1 Eastern on Fox at Northwest Stadium in Landover. The 3-1 Commando Skins are 3.5-point home favorites over the 1-3 Browns, and the total's 44.5. Washington's the toast of the NFL behind Jaden Daniels' exciting play, and they've won 3 in a row. Though it was the Giants, the Bengals, and the Cardinals. I know Cleveland's bad, very bad, but I can't see a world in which the Commando Skins are 4-1. Give me the Brownies catching 3.5. Sunday at 1 Eastern on CBS at Everbank Stadium in Duval County. The 0-4 Jaguars are 3-point home favorites over 2-2 Colts, and the total's 46. The Colts have won 2 straight, but all 4 games have been decided by less than 6 points. Tells you something. The Jags are the best 0-4 team in NFL history. Aside from a blowout loss in Buffalo, 3 tough losses to a few bad teams, which make them head-scratching. The nation takes the 3 with the Colts. I lay the 3 with the Jags at home. Give me Jacksonville. 1 Eastern on CBS at Energy Stadium in H-Town. The 3-1 Bills are 1-point road favorite at the 3-1 Texans, with the total set at 47.5. These are 2 of the AFC teams that the media has already anointed as threats to the Chiefs. Buffalo got curb stomped by the Ravens on Monday night and now travel south on a short week. Give me the Texans at home on the money line at even money. 4 Eastern on Fox at Empower Stadium, Empower Field, and Mile High. The 2-2 Broncos are 3-point home chalk versus the 2-2 Raiders, and the total's 36.5. Base hit for Carpenter, 1-out single in the 8th. The Broncos have won 2 straight, and the Raiders won 2 out of 3. Are we living in an alternate universe? No, we're not, unfortunately. They're both still bad. 2 bad offenses and 1.5 good defenses. Give me the Broncos at home, lay the 3, and give me under 36.5. 4 Eastern on Fox at Denim Jeans Stadium in the Silicon Valley. The 2-2 Ford, that's through the hole. Runner will go to third. Tigers got runners at the corners with 1 out in the 8th. Tying run, 90 feet away with 1 out. Wow. Wow. Niners, 7.5-point home favorites over the Cardinals. Totals 49.5. Come on. Really? It's a big number, but the 49ers covered it last week. At home this week, they'll do it again. 49ers minus 7.5. 4:25 Eastern on CBS at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Always up to no good. Hang on. The 2-2 Packers are 3.5-point road chalk at the 1-3 Rams, and the total's 48.5. The Rams are a walking triage unit with all their injuries, and the Packers are only good enough to beat the Titans and the Colts. Now they got Jordan Love back, and things are going to be different, right? Wrong. The Rams are a reverse turf home underdog, so give me the Ram Chops catching 3.5 at home. 3:25 Eastern on CBS at Lumen Field in Seatown. The 3-1 Seahawks are a 6-point home chalk versus the 1-3 Giants, and the total's 43.5. Seattle's defense was exposed on Monday night by the Lions really badly, and now on a short week they have to fix it. Good news, Seahawk fans. That means you, Slick. You're playing the Giants this week. Give me the Hawks. Lay the 6 because the Giants are just bad. And a wild pitch ties the game. The humanity. That's incredible. Carpenter scores. Runner goes the second. 1 out. A base hit gives Detroit the lead right back. This is insanity. Top of the 8th. I got to finish up here so I can watch the end of this. Start screaming and throwing things at the television. Sunday night, 8:20 Eastern on NBC at the stadium formerly known as the Giant Ketchup Bottle in Steel City, USA. Pittsburgh's a short 2.5-point home favorite over the 2-2 Cowboys, and the total is 43. Dallas's defense has been bad, and now without DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, good luck against the run-happy Steelers. Give me the Steelers at home, minus 2 and a chunk. Finally, Monday night at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN at racially insensitive Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The 4-0 Chiefs are 5-point home favorites versus 2-2 Nolans, and the total's 42.5. I said earlier that the Jags are the best 0-4 team ever, and I have to say the Chiefs might be the worst 4-0 team ever. They keep winning, though, but they don't cover a lot of numbers. But let me preface that by saying, without sounding like Mr. Conspiracy Guy, the NFL will not allow the Chiefs to lose on Monday Night Football at home. They just won't. Give me the Saints catching 5 on the road to close out the week. 14 NFL plays to go along with 21 college picks. Gives us 35 on the week, and 20 wins is our goal. But 23 or 24 is absolutely possible. Let's hit them early. Let's hit them hard. MLB playoff picks will continue every day in the comments section of this video. And I'll have series picks as well as the division series starts early next week before I get to make next week's video, right? So I'm going to wind up with over 50 picks for the week. Now, since there are games going on right now as I'm recording and watching, I'll literally post my picks for tomorrow's games in the comments section of this video tonight. So make sure to check back next Wednesday and every day if you want the baseball bets. Make sure to check back. Stoniecast 146 is coming out at you next week. So until then, just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. For me, the action is the juice. The difference between winning and making money is that anyone can win betting chalk, but you can't make money unless you take the dogs. Do you want to win or do you want to make money? Big difference. Decide. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you. Yeah, I still miss you, Gooch. I miss you a lot.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.